What's going on, guys? He's here with an episode of a little bit of review. So, this review episode, I have ESHL in the background. I'm going to be reviewing every single trade since June 17th, 2017. So, basically what I'm doing is I'm going over all these trades. You're going to listen to what I think about it. You can comment down below what you think about what I think, or what you think about the trades that I'm talking about. Because there are plenty of them. There's only one trade I will not be talking about, and that is a trade that sent Derek Stepan and Raanta to Arizona. I'm not going to be giving my thoughts on that trade because that's going to go in my New York Rangers NHL entry draft and expansion draft review. So, let's get this puppy underway. First and foremost, let's go here. Okay, all right, I got my laptop. I'm using cat friendly, by the way. All right, so June 17th, the first trade that was made on June 17th was the Montreal Canadiens traded Nathan Beaulieu to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a third-round pick in the year 2017. I don't know what this pick turned into, though. Let's see. Let's see what Buffalo used this pick for. I don't know who that is. All right, so forget it. But, I mean, it's quite obvious. It doesn't matter who the pick is. The Buffalo Sabres won that trade hands down. There's no contesting. I don't see how the Sabres didn't win that trade. They literally got a 28-point plus 8 defenseman at the age of 24 years old, 6'2", 205, in exchange for a third-round pick. Beaulieu, also, I might mention, is a former first-round pick. Perhaps Montreal sold him low because of the, I guess, because they were afraid they were going to lose him in the expansion draft, so it might have been an expansion move. But if I'm giving a winner to that, regardless of expansion priorities or not, that is a automatic win for the Buffalo Sabres. They got a good right-handed defenseman out of that. Moving on, the trade that followed that one is Mike Smith with 25% salary retained to the Calgary Flames in exchange for Chad Johnson, Brandon Hickey, and a conditional third-round pick. Who do I think won this trade? I'm going to give this one a dead even. Here's the deal. The Calgary Flames get the goalie they want, but Mike Smith is 34, 35 years old. So he's not young anymore. They get him at a discount, which is okay, I guess, making $4.25 for the next 2 years. Or this year. The Coyotes get Chad Johnson, Brandon Hickey, C to B level prospect, and a third-round pick in 2018, which is conditional. So I want to give this one to Arizona, but I'm just going to call it even for now, only because we got to see what Mike Smith does with the Calgary Flames before we can assess this trade. The trade after that, this one I like for the Devils, and I hate the Devils, but I really like it. They got Mirko Mueller and a 5th-round pick in 2017 in exchange for a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick, both in 2017. This trade was, again, directly in response to the NHL expansion draft. The Sharks, there was no way they were going to be able to protect Mirko, so they figured they might as well get some value out of the former first-round pick. And that came in, excuse me, I hate that I yawn during these videos. I'm not doing it out of, boredom. I promise you that much. Honestly, the Sharks got 2 good picks from it. But the Devils won this trade. Mirko Mueller is going to fit in great with the New Jersey Devils. They're a young team. They're building from the back out. So, listen, from the New Jersey Devils, I really like that trade. And to make matters better for the Devils, they ended up getting a 5th-round pick for that, too. So they only really lost 1 pick out of that. Mueller only played 4 games last year. He put up 2 points. He had 20 points with the Barracuda in the AHL. 6'3", 205, former first-round pick in 2013. He went 18th overall. Trade after that, the Sabres traded a 6th-round pick to the Vegas Knights for expansion draft considerations. Obviously, Vegas wins. Trade after that, Riley Smith traded to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a 4th-round pick. I'm giving this one to the Florida Panthers, and this is one of the few trades that the Las Vegas Golden Knights did not win. I don't understand why the Vegas Knights did this trade. I don't get it. Sure, Riley Smith isn't bad, but you're taking a guy who scored, let's see how many goals. He scored 15 goals last year. I mean, granted, he's a year separated from a 25-goal year. But he's making $5 million a year. And he has, let's see how many years left he has. I think he's got 4 or 5 years left of $5 million. He has he has 5 years left at $5 million a year. For a guy that's coming off a 15-goal season, 37 points. minus 13. You know, Florida won this trade. They gained $5 million in cap space and a 4th-round pick in 2018. So I'm going to give that one to Florida. I mean, maybe Vegas wanted his leadership. I'm not really sure, but Florida definitely won that trade. And just in the sense that they gained a lot of cap space out of that. $5 million, especially in the salary cap era, is a lot of money. Moving on, the Carolina Hurricanes traded a 5th-round pick to Vegas in 2015 for expansion draft considerations. Again, Vegas won that. They got a pick out of it for free. This is a big one. Oh, God, I hate that I do that. Excuse me. This is a big one for the Golden Knights. They win this trade by a mile. Tampa Bay Lightning send Nikita Gusev, a top KHL player, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick in exchange for expansion draft considerations. This is a great trade for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Nikita Gusev is going to be a beast when it comes over to the NHL. I don't remember exactly who the Tampa Bay Lightning were trying to protect with this, but was it worth whatever they gave up? Well, only time will tell. Yeah, so Vegas easily won that trade. There's not a doubt in my mind they won that. And again, Vegas only really lost one trade, and that was a Riley Smith trade, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. The trade that followed that was the New York Islanders trading Mikhail Grabowski, maybe a D-level prospect, a 1st-round pick in 2017 and a 2nd in 2019. No conditions in exchange for expansion draft considerations. A humongous win for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, assuming they're not trying to compete within the next 3 to 4 years. They got a 1st-round pick for free. They got a 2nd-round pick in 2019 for free. And to what? Not pick Brock Nelson or, Anders Lee? Yeah, I'm taking a 1st, a 2nd, and Grabowski's crappy contract. Absolutely, especially on a rebuilding program. So they won that trade again. Vegas Knights, what a surprise, they're going to win another trade. They acquire Shea Theodore from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for expansion draft considerations. That's a huge win. Shea Theodore, top defensive prospect. I love that trade for Vegas. Las Vegas Knights and Minnesota Wild make a trade. I'm going to say they won this trade again. Whoop-de-damn-do. They got Alex Tuch in exchange for a conditional 3rd-round pick from the Wild. I believe that also brought in expansion draft considerations. But either way, Alex Tuch is a top-notch prospect. I'd give him a B+, A- prospect. The kid's got a future. Now, I like this trade for both teams. The Vegas Golden Knights acquired David Clarkson's contract, $5.25 for the next 4 years, I think. A 2017 1st and a 2019 2nd in exchange for expansion draft considerations. This is good for the Blue Jackets because they didn't have to lose a great player. They lost William Karlsson, I believe, which is a player nonetheless. It's a big player nonetheless, but still. Hats off to George McPhee. He did a phenomenal job getting picks. And then he flipped that. So yeah, obviously Vegas won that trade. And then Vegas made a good trade with the Winnipeg Jets. They swapped Columbus's 1st-round pick to Winnipeg for their 2017 1st, so they moved back a little bit. Right? Did they move back? Then they dropped back in the draft a little bit, and they acquired a 2019 3rd. Excuse me, a 2019 3rd too. So Vegas again, they're bringing in the picks, so win for them. Pittsburgh gave Vegas a 2nd-round pick for expansion draft considerations. Again, they won that trade. They got a pick for free. Now we get away from Vegas. We get Ryan Strome headed to the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Jordan Eberle. This is a win for both sides. Here's why. The Edmonton Oilers clear up cap space and a streaky goal scorer in Jordan Eberle. Cap space that's going to go towards Draisaitl and Eberle. They also acquire Ryan Strome, not as streaky a scorer, more like a player who has had trouble developing with the New York Islanders. I think both teams got exactly what they wanted. The Islanders want to convince John Tavares to stay, and they did so by bringing in, someone that can score. So I can't even say either team won that trade. If anything, maybe the Oilers, just because of the cap space and the fact they got a winger of not equal value to Eberle, but perhaps one day. The next trade, the Vegas Knights, of course, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes acquire a 2018 7th-round pick and Trevor Van Riemsdyk in exchange for a 2nd-round pick. I'm going to say the Carolina Hurricanes won this trade. That's at least what I would say. They basically turned... let me check something quick. Make sure I'm saying this correctly, because I don't want to... Let's say Ron Hainsey. I believe this was the pick they got for Ron Hainsey. Let me just double check. So they effectively turned Ron Hainsey into Trevor Van Riemsdyk. If that's not a good trade, then I don't know what is. That's basically Ron Hainsey for Trevor Van Riemsdyk and a 2018 7th-round pick. So, yes, the Carolina Hurricanes absolutely won that trade. Absolutely. Good for them, man. That's a phenomenal trade for them. They had a good young defenseman they could throw back there. Also giving them flexibility if they ever want to ship out 1, 2, maybe 3 of their young guys, because they got so many young defensemen in Carolina. Moving on from that, we have the Montreal Canadiens and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Las Vegas acquired a 2019 fifth-round pick in exchange for David Schlemko, who's going to Montreal. This trade, I'm going to call it, I'll give it to the Montreal Canadiens. They traded a fifth-round pick 2 years from now in exchange for a defenseman that could be effective now. Although I do not like David Schlemko's contract. I do believe he's overpaid. But it is what it is. Good for them. They got the guy they think they need, so that's what it is. All right, getting into the blockbusters now. June 23rd, 2017. Chicago Blackhawks light up the world. First of all, in a matter of minutes, they managed to trade 2 of their stud players. Let's begin. First and foremost, trading Nicholas Hadromelson to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for Laurent Dauphin and Connor Murphy. When this happened, I remember bugging out because I was out with my mom. We were shopping and whatnot. I remember reading this because I was getting bored, obviously. I'm not really a shopping guy. But this was huge. This was excellent to see happen. I was like, you know what? This is going to be a good day. You see trades happen that early in the morning, you know something's good. Let me just find Nicholas Hadromelson. I definitely spelled his name wrong on HockeyDB. Let's see. Let's just go like this. Nicholas Hadromelson is, in my opinion, a top, I'm going to say top 3 defenseman or top 2 defenseman on any good team. He's a solid defenseman. He plays big minutes against big players on the other team. He's 6'3", 197. He's on a decent contract. I think he's got 2 years left at 4.1, so the Coyotes can afford him. He's going to fit in well. He had 18 points last year, 24 the year prior. He scored 5 goals, plus 12. He fits in perfect. Listen, and you know what the biggest part is? Nicholas Hadromelson and Oliver Ekman-Larsson on Sweden were paired together. So they're familiar with each other, which is an excellent job by GM John Chayka, acquiring a guy like Nicholas Hadromelson to throw with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, immediately improve their defense. He said prior to the draft he wants to acquire a top 4 defenseman, a starting goalie, and a number 1 center. And he did all 3 of those things on the day. So hats off to GM John Chayka. He did a great job acquiring all of those. Nicholas Hadromelson's a no-joke defenseman. It's an excellent acquisition for them. I think Chayka did a great job. What they gave up, let's see. Laurent Dauphin. You could argue a bust prospect. He has 32 NHL games, only 3 goals and 1 assist. The kid really had all of it. At least everybody thought. He thought he was going to be pretty good in the NHL. Has not been to be so far. Trying to find significant stats of his. In the AHL this year, he played 38 games. He managed 17 goals and 28 points in 38 games, so that's pretty good. He's 22 years old. He's 6'2", 180, so he's a relatively big center, lefty. He will definitely make the NHL on a team like the Blackhawks, which has history of taking bust prospects and makes them into something good. Richard Panik's a perfect example. So good for Laurent Dauphin. He's definitely going to get playing time with the Blackhawks. I can see him on a 3rd, 4th line role. Maybe stick him on the wing with Taves and Saad. Who knows? Speaking of which, we're going to actually move on to Connor Murphy first for that one. So Connor Murphy is the defenseman going back to the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, I like this trade for the Blackhawks because it makes them a lot younger, something that they were struggling with. They were definitely getting older. Poor Marian Hossa, man. He season-ending and possibly career-ending injury. Poor freaking... not injury, disease. It's a skin disease he has. So the poor guy, my prayers are out for him and his family. Marian Hossa is a top-flight player, but, team's not getting any younger. So Connor Murphy had 17 points in consecutive years. Minus 13 this year, plus 5 last year. Murphy's 6'4", 212, and he's got like 4 or 5 years left, making $3.8 a year. That is an excellent contract, especially for the Chicago Blackhawks, who lack right-handed defensemen. And now they got Connor Murphy they can throw in the top 4. So I think that's a great trade. 24 years old especially. That looks really nice for the Chicago Blackhawks. Murphy will be a Blackhawk for a long time. Former first-round pick. I think he fits very well with the Blackhawks. And I think it's great because you can almost argue that one day he will be better than Nicholas Hadromelson. So good for him. Good for the Blackhawks. I really like that trade for them. Moving on from that trade, the second blockbuster of the day. Freaking Chicago Blackhawks sent in Artemi Panarin to the Metropolitan Division. Columbus Blue Jackets, along with Tyler Mott and a 2017 sixth, they acquired Brandon Saad, Anton Forsberg, and a 2018 fifth. Let's take a look at this trade for a second. Let's look at Brandon Saad first and foremost. Why would the Blackhawks trade Artemi Panarin, an all-star, for Brandon Saad, who's, debatably an all-star? Well, Saad's 1 year younger and has 2 years more on his contract, making the same amount of money. Scored 24 goals last year, 31 the year prior. 53 points in consecutive years. He had 52 in his last year with the Blackhawks. He's only 24 years old. He's a kid. I still remember it was a big deal when Columbus acquired him. I really wanted to get a Saad Blue Jackets jersey because I love Saad as a player. I thought he would really be a Blue Jacket for a long time, but I've been wrong before. So good for Brandon Saad. I know he's happy to be back. And from what I've seen, Taves and Kane played a big part in getting Brandon Saad back. They miss him, and it's showing. It obviously is showing that they miss him because Saad, as young as he was when they did trade him, is a great leader and an excellent hockey player. Scored 31 goals last year. That's huge. Now let's take a look at Artemi Panarin, one of the pieces going back, what he can do. Now, is Panarin going to have a 70-point season next year? This is the biggest question mark everyone's going to have. Can Artemi Panarin put up the same points when he's not stuck to Patrick Kane? Panarin's 25 years old. He's got 2 years after $6 million a year. Can Panarin find the same success without Patrick Kane on his opposite wing? This is a big question, and we're going to find out, I guess, because I don't know. Panarin's a hell of a hockey player. You cannot take it away from him with or without Patrick Kane. Just with Patrick Kane there, he's a 70-plus point player. We'll see how he does with maybe the likes of what's his name, Wenberg as his center or something like that. Maybe you put Wenberg, Panarin, and Bjorkstrand if he continues to play in the NHL. Sonny Milano if they don't trade him. Maybe get the young guys going, But it's great for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They got what they've been looking for, a purified, bona fide goal scorer. Something that they have not had in a very, very, very long time. Someone that you can use as your go-to scorer. The Blue Jackets did not have that. They thought Brandon Saad would be their guy. He was for the first year. He wasn't for the second year. It's that simple. So I love that for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, good for them. Hats off to their general manager for bringing in a guy of Artemi Panarin's status. Let's see the pieces going the other way. Tyler Mott, first of all, is also getting sent to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Played 33 NHL games this year. First 33 of his career. Managed 7 points, 4 of them being goals. University of Michigan was an all-star at 56 points, 32 goals in 38 games. 31 points the year prior, 18 the year prior to that. So, good American center. 22 years old, 5'9", 193. He's relatively small, but he's an excellent skater. Put up 16 points, including 10 goals in 43 AHL games. He may just make the NHL next year. He might be on the Blue Jackets roster. I know the Blue Jackets are deep at forward, but honestly, you get a guy of Tyler Mott's status. Maybe the Blue Jackets are trying to be a little more offensive, so just maybe he'll be in the NHL. Now, Anton Forsberg went back to the Chicago Blackhawks. I fully expect him to be the Blackhawks backup next year, assuming that he doesn't flunk. He's a good young goalie. He's 24 years old. The Blackhawks are weak in the system with goaltenders, so it's important they got a young goalie in return. Obviously, the Blue Jackets didn't need him. They got the kid, was it Korpisalo? They don't need Anton Forsberg, so it's not really a big loss for them. More of a gain for the Blackhawks than it was a loss. Now, who won this trade in the end? I'm going to say the Columbus Blue Jackets, because not only did they get Artemi Panarin, but they got a B-plus level, B-minus to B-plus level prospect in Tyler Mott. And really, the Blackhawks brought back more of a defensive two-way guy that can score. Maybe a B goalie prospect who's already at the age of 24, so that might not even be as good as I'm saying. So that's it for that. I really like that trade for both teams, though. In the end, anyways, moving on. Dante Solarito to Minnesota for Jordan Schroeder, who went to Columbus. I'm going to give it to neither team because I don't think either team really won that trade at all. After that, the Rangers one we're going to skip for now. Blackhawks acquire a first and a third in exchange for a first. Who cares? I'm not talking about picks right now. Ryan Reeves to the Penguins with a 2017 second in exchange for Oscar Sundqvist and a 2017 first. The freaking Blues ripped off the Penguins. I don't understand. They haven't had a goon in either one of their cup wins, and they go out and acquire one. Although you can argue Reeves isn't exactly a goon, I just feel like they were much better options out there besides Ryan Reaves, especially if you're trading a first-round pick and dropping back into the second round. And also giving up Oscar Sundqvist, who isn't really just a pushover player, if you ask me. So I'm going to give that win to the St. Louis Blues, unbiased as possible. The next trade, Braden Shen from the Philadelphia Flyers traded to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for Yuri Laterra, 2017 first, and a 2018 conditional first. The Philadelphia Flyers won this trade in the future. The Blues won that trade. Now they got Braden Shen, someone that could take over for what's his name, David Backes, who they lost to free agency. So I like that for the Blues. Good for them. They got Braden Shen, and he's out of the Metropolitan Division. Yuri Laterra is going to fit in with the Philadelphia Flyers, similar to how Valtteri Filppula fit in. Philadelphia is definitely going for that European look right now, so good for them. I think Laterra will fit in well, and I think Braden Shen will fit in well with the St. Louis Blues. He's only a year separated from 30 goals, if not a little more. The next significant trade, actually the last one I'm going to go over, is Travis Hamonic traded to the Calgary Flames in exchange for with a 2019 conditional fourth, in exchange for 2018 first, second, and a 2019 conditional second. The Flames won this trade. The New York Islanders, they're supposed to be bringing in pieces to want to make Tavares want to stay, not want to leave. So I don't understand why you're selling Travis Hamonic as opposed to getting a player in return, maybe Sam Bennett at the very least, or flipping him for Dougie Hamilton. I don't know. I don't like that trade for the Islanders. I like that they're, looking at the future, but, there's not really a near future if you're letting, your franchise player leave, because I just don't understand the logic behind it. Maybe they wanted to open up cap space for something big in free agency or another big trade coming up, but Travis Hamonic was their best trade piece that was, at the very least expendable. I really don't like that trade for the Islanders. I don't understand why they would trade him for just straight picks. I mean, they did good by him. They made him closer to home so he can be with his mother, but at the same time, I just don't really get why you're selling a solid young defenseman on a great contract exchange for picks when you're really just trying to win. A team that didn't make the playoffs this past year, I might remind you. Anyways, it is what it is. Thank you, everybody, for watching the video. I hope you're watching and concerned to making it. And be sure to comment down below your thoughts on all these trades. Get back to me. I'll respond to your comments as per the usual. I will see you all in the next one. Peace!
And the fight is over with one last bombastic punch. Thought it was going to be over a little bit earlier than that, Doc. Toronto's got a little bit of swagger going now. Their man's won the fight. The crowd is ecstatic.